And welcome back, everyone, to part 3 of What If Deku Was Force Sensitive? The Phantom Menace. I swear, I'm going to figure out a way to utilize every one of those titles in every version of, in every version, not version, every chapter of the story. Maybe we'll get through all of them, because I don't think it's going to be because if I'm counting the Star Wars spin-off movies, the Clone Wars, the Rogue One, so Star Wars 3, that's like 12 movies. But I'll see if I can at least get the saga. It's not a trilogy anymore. It's not like 6 months. It's 9 films. Well, we got the Force Awakens. We did New Hope last week, and now we're on the Phantom Menace. I might do like a My Hero spin on the names or something like that, because like I can't do Rise of Skywalker because there's no Skywalker in this. Or though the Last Jedi, quite frankly, is one that's relatively easy to implement for this series. That one. Empire Strikes Back, I'd have to probably alter the name. Return of the Jedi is one I could probably do. Revenge of the Sith, again, have to alter it. Anyway, I digress. So, last time we left off with the hero-villain test. Or, was it a test? Or I think it was more just, I mean, it is a test, but it's more of a training exercise. And Bakugo didn't get his ass spanked, but he did lose, and he got embarrassed pretty hard. So we catch up to him after the fact, between now and the USJ incident where the League of Villains showed up, and we would probably see Deku in his room, his dorm room, just kind of meditating as Obi-Wan taught him, and starting to just just twitching. It's like no, and he just kind of wakes up, and it's like, what was that? And he, calls up Obi-Wan. It's like, you said you saw something. I don't know. It was just darkness, like something not here, but something that'll happen down the way. Those who are strong with the Force are oftentimes able to see glimpses of the future. Wait, we can see the future only what the Force allows us, and only what our emotions can reveal to us. My best advice for you, young Midoriya, is to stay vigilant, but there's nothing you can do about it in the present. Most likely something is coming. That would basically what he says. I'd take care. Remember, just because you see something happen doesn't mean it will happen. There are many avenues that our futures can take. This may have just been one. So great. Just keep your wits about you and just stay focused on your training. Right. Thanks, Master. And so, he's training. They're exercising, training, all that. Deku's personality, again, is not changed to the point where he is going to, what's the word I'm looking for here? That he is going to be different enough to want to be class president or anything like that. I almost never see him wanting to be class president, so that's never going to change. Him practicing, just strengthening the abilities he has. I think he's also started to somewhat pick up force healing, but really it's at best for like cuts and scrapes right now, just because it takes energy to use that ability, as we saw in Rise of Skywalker, where Rey was able to heal Kylo from a very grievous injury, and even the sandworm snake thing that was pretty cool, by the way. So it's like, why don't we get more of this crap? But when Ben healed her, he had to basically give his life for her. He literally had to transfer his life force. So ultimately, he's growing as a Jedi, as a person. But it's not like the growth is immense or or super. What's the best way to put it? It's like comparing Sasuke to Naruto. Naruto had a bigger gap to climb. Deku here is, the gap is grand, but his progression of growth is just, doesn't have the time to really put into it. He probably is up to like a 6 or 7% on One for All, though, for his full cowling. So he's got that mixed in with his force abilities, which makes him a very well-rounded all-rounder in the My Hero world, period, because he has telekinesis, he can create shields. He doesn't have some of the more nuanced abilities yet, like Menace, which is an energy absorption technique. He does not have I don't have the name of the technique, but it's a light creating technique, which basically can create light, like a laser. He hasn't figured anything like that out yet. I could even see him figuring out ways to like become temporarily invisible, like a light bending technique or something like that. There's also illusion creating, things along those lines that he just hasn't have yet. he may have a brief level of the. I haven't actually addressed if he has the Jedi mind trick. I don't think he's probably just never had the ability to test it on anything. But we'll have to wait and see. They're heading obviously to their is it rescue training? What that was supposed to be? Environmental rescue training, I think it was. But Deku, as they're traveling, starts to get the dark feeling again. The premonition in his like that premonition he saw in his dreams. Like, what was that? And he's just starting to get this uneasy feeling. He's like, I've got a really bad feeling about that. I've got a bad feeling about it. So what? Nothing. It's just something just feels off. It's like, are you okay to whatever, loser? And they talk about their quirks. Deku kind of like cheers up a little bit, talks about it. They get in there. I can't remember that rescue hero's quirk. The one with the black hole quirk. I can't remember his name. And it is a he. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But they get in there, and once again, Deku's like force sensitive. Like his senses are going like haywire. Like something's here. No, this isn't. And then Kurogiri shows up, and the League of Villains shows up, the Phantom Menace, and it's like, well, I was like, I'm sorry, but we don't need you here. And obviously, Ida still manages to get out. Kurogiri sends them away to different locations. Deku manages to catch him, gets his full cowling up, and manages to kind of offset himself with the force, almost basically kind of jumping off the air. And so he's managing, and then and Froakie manages to Froakie. No, Sue Froppy. She's not Froppy yet, but we'll call her Sue or Froppy, whatever. Froppy manages to grab him, and they are able to get on the boat. They're just trying to figure out the scenario. She's like, what are we going to do? And Deku quickly realizes they don't know what our quirks are. They wouldn't have sent you here to this location if they knew what your quirk was, or you would have the advantage. So we can use that. Well, what can you do? Well, I got all the abilities of a frog. I can also turn my stomach inside out, but that's not really relevant for this. It's like, well, and Deku explains his quirk and what it does, and he's had to try to figure out a way to explain it. But actually, the easiest way to explain it in this case would be my body absorbs ambient energy in the environment, which is not entirely inaccurate to how the Force works with Force users. Because as the line goes, it surrounds us, it penetrates us, it penetrates us. So you're not really absorbing the Force, but the Force is all around you. So you have to utilize it from the environment and what your capabilities allow you. So that's it. It's not really how the Force works, but it's enough of an excuse that he explains. It allows me to augment my physical abilities and gives me a couple other abilities as well. Like, he doesn't specify the Force. Not that it really matters. Like, anyone would really believe it. They would just probably consider it a quirk anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, but still. And then obviously, Mina's like, I can create these sticky balls. If I pull too many too hard, my scalp starts to bleed. I can stick them to anything. Oh, I also don't. They don't stick to me. What are we gonna do? And so Midoriya obviously jumps off the ledge. Like, we gotta try. And he does a shot with he just throws a punch. Wouldn't be very impressive, this particular punch, but he adds the force onto it, and that does add an impressive little boom. Not enough that he can do much. So then he realizes, is that all you got? And then Deku's got his finger there. Just no. It's like, not quite. Damn it, I gotta go on. Boom! Just breaks his finger. Now, at the point he breaks his finger, and then obviously Minato says, "Eat my sticky balls!" Well, Midoriya, you're really cool. And obviously Sue gets the matter. Midoriya is immediately on trying to fix his finger. Like I said, it's really good for minor injuries as force healing. He can't just reset a finger, unfortunately. Although he can at least dull the pain and get the healing process kind of started with it. Just kind of holding it in place, like kind of if you've ever, I guess the best kind of scenario I can think of where you'd hurt your fingers, if you ever been to a bowling alley and the ball's there and the ball accidentally gets your finger. First off, you can break a finger that way. Otherwise, that pace is you just kind of hold it, keep the pressure on, be like, Deku's kind of doing that, but also force healing, just it's at least offsetting the pain. Deku knows the finger's still broken, but he can kind of feel it slowly mending, but it's just not enough. Regardless, they get to the shore, and they get separated. Deku's on like one side, because I remember this. Sue, he was away from Sue when Nomu and Shigaraki showed up. And so Shigaraki's like, time for you to go. And Midoriya sees this, and he realizes after seeing what Shigaraki can do, because I remember he saw the whole idea of her just disintegrating, but Nomu just is quickly holding Aizawa there, and Aizawa's just like, wow, Eraserhead, you're so cool. And get away! And then all of a sudden, get away from So! What the? And I see Midoriya probably rushing and smash! Just, did you just say smash, kid? You a fan of All Might, huh? Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be enough. And then Midoriya is just ready. Nomu, take care of it. And then Deku is like, oh crap, this guy, nope. And just, Nomu actually does slow down. Midoriya doesn't have enough power. Like his hands shaking. He's like, trying to keep busy. What? Well, too bad. Eraser staff forgot. Sorry, kid. I'm gonna have to. Sorry, you guys have to be casualties to everything here. And then Midoriya, all of a sudden, Nomu legitimately stops because Shigaraki's being held back too, and they're both kind of like slowly moving forward. And he's like holding his hand out, and Midoriya says, "You're not gonna hurt my friends." And all of a sudden, Nomu like straight out stops. Like, it's like, no. And all of a sudden, Midoriya's hand is in a clutching position. You're not hurting my friends. Now, you might think this is a little like, well, first off, this is not the moment I'm thinking of for his dark side, light side, ethical dilemma. This is just a glimpse of it. But remember, what is the path to the dark side? Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. Well, Midoriya, at least in the early parts, even with this training, is still quite a big scaredy cat. Like, he gets scared easily. But then you add on the threat of his friends, or a threat to his friends, and this would be a perfect time for him to at least mildly tap into it. See, and he starts to even hold the Nomu back and start choking out the Nomu a little bit, though the Nomu probably is not going to be as effective thanks to the shock absorption ability. But just what? Sorry, you won't hurt him, and he's just there's like that. His eyes are green. Midoriya's eyes are green, but the Sith eye color is a combination of yellow, red, and sometimes orange mixed in there too. And there's a mild hint of it there, just briefly, before Midoriya quickly realizes, luckily because he has been trained by Obi-Wan, that's like, this doesn't feel, no, this is wrong. And unfortunately, him letting go of that like sensation of anger causes Nomu to come in. And Deku luckily still gets full Cali, dodges, brings out his full power, smash! Don't break the egg. And just, it's like, did I do it? I don't know what the hell. That wasn't quite a heroic move there, kid. Choking out your opponent? It doesn't matter. Nomu here's got shock absorption. You're going to have to do a lot better than that. Right, Nomu? And so, obviously, Nomu's coming in. All of a sudden, the poof. Never fear, for I am here. By the way, my throat is now fully recovered, so I can get more back into the impression part of the series. There you are, All Might. Then Nomu just kind of there, and obviously they square off. And most of this goes about the same. Deku helps a little bit with the Nomu, thanks to using the Force. But All Might just says, no, his timeline's almost up, huh? Do not worry. You said he's got shock absorption. So what? You said his ability is shock absorption, not nullification, so there's a limit to what he can take, alright? If that's the case, I'll just have to make him go past the limit and force you to submit. It's like, what? No. You may have heard these words before, but let them burn into your heart one more time. Go beyond. Plus Ultra! Boo! And just takes the Nomu out. In my heyday, it would have taken only 5 or 6 punches. But today, it took over 300 mighty blows. Now, let's finish this villain. And so, obviously, Shigaraki tries to make the move. But Deku, who's actually still relatively okay, his finger's still broken. His hand probably is maybe cracked. But he actually can just, with both hands, just... with both hands and stuck in midair, Shigaraki is legitimately stuck. It's like, not happening. Not this time. Force pushes him back as he gets shot in the head. No, master. It's all right, Shigaraki. There's always next time. And so they say Midoriya gets Recovery Girl helps Midoriya out, but and All Might thanks Midoriya for helping out, but Midoriya is also Midoriya is glad to have help, but he's still kind of shooken up by what happened back there. It's like, is something wrong, Midoriya? It's fine. All Might I need to talk to Obi-Wan Sensei about something. And so he goes and does it. So you're saying you were saying you felt a greater power surge through you, but yeah, but it was different than our training. It felt dark, like hot, like burning fire. I had to stop. I mean, I was able to stop, but Midoriya, we spoke before about the Force, right? We mentioned the dark side and the light side. The Jedi were able to fell firmly into the light side of the Force, but there was another group of heroes, a smaller, but no less deadly group. They named themselves the Sith. They tapped into the dark side of the Force. The dark side, but yes, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities that some would deem to be unnatural. Whereas we feel our power through emotions such as love, hope and joy. Those were their powers. The dark side is fueled more by the negative emotions: sorrow, anger, fear, hatred, greed. And Obi-Wan, and obviously they've talked about it before, but Deku has never shown any inclinations towards dark side. But and Deku just kind of like stays quiet. Like, is the dark side stronger? No, easier perhaps, but not inherently stronger. But to be honest, I was afraid this could happen. You see, Midoriya, your goal is to become the greatest hero. Is to become a hero to help people, and through that you've gained many friends, and those bonds are strong. But it's that attachment to those bonds that can be a double-edged sword. When you feel fear, the Force will respond to it. When you feel scared, when you feel a passion for something, the Force will respond to it, good or negative or positive. And truth be told, many of the Jedi back in my day, including myself, forewent many personal relationships. I myself had never married because the threat of attachment would have been too great of a manipulation tool for those who wanted to try to seduce me or others to the dark side of the Force. And so you're saying I can't have any friends? And this is where Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's kind of been like, methodical about this. So you're saying I can't, and your passion to be a hero is great, but that passion could also be twisted into something hateful and evil. So you're saying I can't have any of that? And then this is where Obi-Wan actually does kind of like smile a bit. No, that's not what I'm saying, Midoriya. I'm saying that everything in life is about balance, control, and understanding oneself. If you're able to tap into that, no amount of dark side, no amount of negativity will ever be able to influence you again. And so right now, Midoriya is taking that as, okay, I just need to keep my emotions in check. I can have these relationships, but I need to keep them in check. Speaking of which, have you figured out yet how you wish to impart your Kyber crystal yet? Well, you said it has to choose me. Technically, yes, but seeing as this is the only Kyber crystal, only known Kyber crystal left, save those in collector's storage, it will most likely attune to you the moment you try to channel your abilities into it. And Midoriya's just thinking on it and just like, I think I gotta wait right now. And say, no worries. Now, if I remember correctly, the sports festival will be happening in a few weeks. You best keep your training up. It's like, yes, thank you, Master. Is it alright if I train here a little bit? Like, absolutely. So he goes on the odds ahead, and Obi-Wan's just kind of mentally thinking to himself, he's struggling. I do hope you don't go down the wrong path. I'm hoping you're able to find the right path for yourself, Midoriya. As he doesn't handle it, he doesn't grip his lightsaber or anything like that. Like, I don't want to have to do something, like, I don't want to have a rogue Force user on. Like, I don't need another Sith out here. Because he's remembering, like, in this world, maybe there was, in fact, an Anakin. Like, their version of an Anakin. And the same thing happened here where it did in Star Wars, where he had gone to the dark side. He was the only Sith left, maybe. And Obi-Wan had to do what he had to do. They fought. They even fought in a volcano, and Anakin didn't make. But this Anakin legitimately didn't make it. By the way, I'm not bringing in, like I said, other characters. The Obi-Wan character is really the only one I'm keeping here. But you can still maybe have in the past these kind of characters. And everyone's like, and so yeah, he's not actually palming his lightsaber, but his eyes do go to his saber and remembers what happened the last time. Like, if that boy were to turn, I'm not sure I'd be able to stop him. But anyway, Midoriya goes back, and luckily he's fine. He's training harder, but also like trying to just open himself more up to the Force, which helps increase his overall abilities. I think he even gets to the 8% for full cowling, so he's not quite. He's basically where he is when he fought Bakugo after the license exam in terms of full cowling, which is actually fairly powerful for all things considered. Beyond that, though, he's focusing more on his support abilities. He's also trying to do the Jedi Mind Trick, animal control, which he can do, but again, probably will never come into play in this fight. Or animal taming, beast taming, I think it's more referred to. He's also practicing more his Force healing. That, I think, is one of the big things that he's not focusing. He's focusing less on power, though he still manages to train a little bit with it. Like, he could, if he had to, he could knock over a small car. More, and not like just make it fly, but like put it on its side, which would still be impressive. Like, in terms of the amount of weight he can like lift, he could maybe, using both hands, because it is technically it's a mind but your body feels the weight of the thing, and so it's psychological. It's like, oh yeah, this will help. He could also maybe lift like a small Volkswagen if he had to, but that's like a lot of focus and control. So on the regular basis, he can hold a grown man up. Like, he could hold a grown man up, no problem, and push them back, all that. But what the big thing right now he knows he should be focusing on right now is his support ability, his Force healing, tapping more into it, finding his stride, his peaceful side, and finding into that. And I think spending so much time with that really helps him out, as he's most likely able to now mend better with his finger. He could heal the finger on its own, just given enough time. He could do that. Like before, he couldn't, but give a few weeks of training, he could do that now. He can't reset a broken limb, though. Like, he could put it in place and give it a couple of weeks and maybe it'll heal on its own. But you're just safe for going to recovery roll. But with a finger, you just keep it lined up properly, give it maybe an hour, he could get it fixed. It isn't like an instantaneous fix, but he could get it fixed. And so the day of the sports festival happens. Everyone Class 1A is there. Yeah! Obviously, Class 1B is starting shit with them. I think it's the support class or the supplemental class. I think it's the support class. Basically, Shinso. Shino. I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, the brainwash court guy. I am blanking on his name. Why? I think it's Shinso or Shino. I want to say it's Shinso. He introduces himself, and so the obstacle course happens. Obviously, Shoto, blanking on that guy's name, takes down the 0 pointer, no problem. However, Midoriya is the one who's way ahead, simply because with just 8% and augmenting his abilities with the Force, he is outrunning a lot of people already. Ida's the only one speed-wise who's probably giving him any real issue. Bakugo with his explosions could be giving him some problems too, but the advantage to having the Force is he also has things like really good balance and the ability to augment his overall abilities. For example, if he has to with that rope, not climbing, crawling, it's like the rope bridge. Anyway, he could frankly just jump that. I was surprised Sue just climbed that instead of just jumping. She should have been able to make that jump, but whatever. But anyway, he also he struggles with some of the distance, I'd imagine, but I think he's overall fine. And when he has to, he can kind of just, if he misses it, he can just kind of like force pull himself forward again. And then the fun part would be, as they realize the mines are coming, but Deku Deku getting ready, suddenly just close like, and all of a sudden he senses all the mines. This would be something I think would be, they're small, it's a lot of objects, but he's just getting, because they're all kind of taking their time to go through the course. He I think would be a dick and be like, all right, my turn. And all of a sudden, they all come up and say, or at least like the back half. And then Midoriya knows I can't bring them all up, because if I do, that's gonna free up the space for everyone. But if I bring up, say, the back half, boom, and everyone's in, boom, and then Midoriya rushes in and just like, and everyone's in, Deku, and then Midoriya manages to grab one more. And literally just kind of puts it on, literally lands it on Shoto, and Bakugo's, you son of a bull! And then he rushes in and he gets number 1 like he does before. Unfortunately, that still puts him as numero uno target for the cavalry battle. Now, that said, however, with the ability to use the Force, does the cavalry battle go any different? Because he was the guy on top with the cavalry battle, so you couldn't. All for One really isn't going to be doing much here for him. All for One. One for All. I always do it. All for One is not going to be. One for All is not going to be doing him any favors here. It can't help him very much here. It's not like he has any of the quirks. If he had Black Whip, he ain't touching that headband. Not with Black Whip on his side. But with the Force, would he be able to keep the headband on his head? Like literally just keep it on. Like when Ida goes to snatch it, is he able to just like use it like what? That's a bit more difficult. I think though, what could happen here is that he does put up a mild Force shield. Like he's doing his best, like he's holding his hands out the whole time, and they're wondering what he's doing until when maybe Ida comes and gets it, or Shoto, because Shoto also tried to go for that headband. And so did Bakugo. When Ida tries to grab it, he realizes his hand kind of like, so here, this would be like the shield in his hand. So when he goes for it, it's like, it just starts to kind of like, it slows down, like literally. So he literally misses it, even though his momentum is great. The fact that he wasn't expecting an invisible shield layer, at least to slow him down, means he fails to grab it. Now, this is important because if Midoriya is able to hold on to that number 1, does the ranking, does who get what change? My guess is probably not. This is just due to the idea that, and I believe Ida was with Shoto too, so actually they're all the same team. But because there is still the 50-point headband as well, which I believe that's what Dark Shadow ended up nabbing, I think they would maybe get that one instead. So either way, I think the point system would stay the same, or who makes it in the final stays the same. Sorry, not the point system. And so yeah, now the matches. Let's see, we're at 27 minutes. I'm gonna go through the rest of the sports festival, and that's where we're gonna leave it. So obviously, I can't remember the tail guy's name either, but he tells Midoriya, "Don't answer. I don't know what happened, but don't answer him." And so Midoriya is ready to go, and then obviously Shinso insults him. Midoriya's ready to you, and so no. And Obi-Wan's probably sitting in the crowd saying, "Well, interesting. His ability seems to be tied to manipulation." And Obi-Wan maybe says it's definitely a quirk, but it seems to be strengthened by latent force sensitivity. No one near as strong as mine or Midoriya's, but interesting nonetheless. There could be other individuals who are force sensitive. Now again, not to the extent where they can use the force like Obi-Wan and Deku can, but still, it would make sense that one of the reasons his quirk is so powerful is that you're using the suggested power of the Force. That would make sense. And then obviously Deku sees the vestiges, breaks his spear. And Deku then starts to just starts healing it up a little bit, like it keeps it straight. Is that the best you can do? And then Midoriya just looks on, just like, okay, I've had enough of this. Is that really the? And then he just lifts the nose like. It's like, whoa! Oh, damn it! It's like, what? Damn. And so Midoriya's like, I'm not playing no games here. Like, Midoriya frankly could just full cowling and just gut checked him, but no, he's like, no, I don't want to hurt you. It's like, sorry, I don't. And so, everyone in support course is cheering on for Shinso. Midoriya gets praised as well for having just a very simple ability that people are like, oh, interesting. And they talk. He's, oh, he got me in. No, don't worry. People just act that way around me. And so, Endeavor meeting with Deku, does that still happen here? Well, remember that Deku did use his quirk, at least the full Cowling aspect of it, and some of the Force as well, in the obstacle course part of it. So Endeavor would have seen the quirk because, I mean, and honestly, he says your quirk is a lot like All Might's, and All Might's taking, I can't remember if it was your quirk's like a lot like All Might's, or All Might's taking an interest in you. Because honestly, how would he know Deku's quirk is like All Might's? Because he hasn't seen anything of Deku up until this point, unless he's been following like the class notes or something like that. So that actually doesn't make any sense about how your quirk's a lot like All Might's, but All Might's taking an interest in you or something. I can still see him approaching because he can tell All Might's taking an interest in him. So you'll be a good test for my Shoto. As a Shoto's, I'm not All Might. I know that. I know that. It's like, and Shoto isn't you. So the fights go as they need to, and Deku versus Todoroki. Actually, that's not a bad name. Todoroki. Hyphen. There we go. Or compound that. Fights Todoroki. Now, in the original, Deku went all out from the beginning, just breaking his limbs and cracking ice. Here, Deku immediately goes into 8%. And right now that's his, like, he still feels good. He's like, his bones are kind of humming a little bit, but he's good. In fact, he could probably push it to like 10 and still be fine. Kind of like how when he was at 20%, his bones felt like they were creaking, but he could still fight and move and not actually break his bones. I imagine that would be like, 10 or 11% here. But he goes to 8%, and he rushes to Todoroki just to like try to take him on, also augmenting himself with the Force, so he's very fast. Even Iida's like, I know I'm fast, but even Midoriya's speed is quite impressive. Whatever. Deku. And he just comes in, but Shoto just pulls out ice. Midoriya is able to force push off. He's able to grab Shoto and try to push him out of the ring, but Shoto puts up ice to brace himself. And Deku's just trying to kind of keep him there and try to push him back even further. The ice starts to crack a little bit, but Shoto just throws more ice right at him. And Deku lands on the large icicle. Shoto throws out more ice. Deku's now just kind of trying to play hard to hit, trying to play keep away right now, more or less, just to stay alive. Fortunately, though, he has a big advantage over Shoto. The Force is always around him. Yes, his physical body will tire out, but the Force is always there. Beyond that, though, he can use both his hands for the Force. Shoto can only use one hand for the ice because he's being stubborn. And so, Shoto probably fires out some icicles. Midoriya puts up blocks himself, protects himself, and then throws him back. They embed themselves in the ice. Midoriya comes in again, manages to smash some of the ice. They're going toe-to-toe for a while, but it's a long range versus long range, and Midoriya knows, I can't get him like this. And it's like, I'm going to have to, and he realizes, I'm going to have to sacrifice a couple fingers for this. Just rushes in, and then all of a sudden, smash! Smash! And then all of a sudden, he's keeping his eye open. Like, he's making sure not to lose sight of Shoto. And he sees him, he's like, got you! And just pulls him in. And this time, Shoto manages to freeze Deku's arm like he did originally. But Deku manages a clean hit on his jaw. Just boom! And then in the original, he hit Shoto right in the gut. And it wasn't a full power one for all, I don't think. Because if it was, he would have actually blown up Shoto. Like a full power one for all, got shot to the gut on a normal human. Oh no, he would have flat out killed him. Straight out. No, it was clear he was using less power in that. But here, it's clearly less power too. But it's controlled, and he can just dish out more. Although he's definitely got some broken limbs. Or broken fingers, digits. He's got like 2-3 broken fingers right now. Basically, he's trying to keep them straight to the best of his ability. Like, he'll still snap his finger to do that if he has to, but it's like, damn it, this burns. And, as Shoto goes flying, he just adds on a force push. But again, Shoto pushes the ice, makes an ice wall. It's like, why aren't you using your fire, Shoto? Come on! It's like, I will not use my fire. Did my father put you up this? and Deku getting pumped up here. It's like, come on. Then you're only using, as far as I'm concerned, you're only using half your power. I'm not gonna lose a fight like that. Everyone else here is giving your all. Come on, I barely even put a scratch on you. So come on, give me all you got. I'm not gonna use my father. I refuse. I will not use my father's quirk. It's your quirk, not his, yours. And obviously he gets the memory of that. It's your, yes, they're passed down from parent to child. But what you do with the quirk, how is it again? What you do with the quirk is what makes it yours. And obviously when shows like, when did I forget? That's right, I want it too, Midoriya. It's like, yes, Shoto, this is why I created you. Huh? What a loving father? Or no, was it? What words of encouragement? And obviously, man, no, Shoto's smiling. Don't say I didn't ask for it. And Midoriya, not thinking, actually does go all out. It's like, yeah, that's right. And but he's also got he's like, and he's going full out in his arm. And he just kind of smiles, but he also, he's getting intense, but he also just, takes a breath. He can feel the force. I am, kind of does like the mantra of Chue from Donnie Yen from Rogue One. I am with the forces with me, and I am with the force. What is that? The force. I am one with the force, and the force is with me. And the force, and obviously. Shoto like fires the fire blast, and Midoriya just jumps off. Luckily, he's not breaking his legs out this time. He manages, thanks to using the force of calming his mind, do an impressive feat of full cowling his legs, but maxing out his arm. And he literally is throwing the punch, but he's adding the force behind it, and somehow, some way, that's augmented. So, boom! And just before you get the boom, so now it's more like, boom. And Deku's frozen but good arm just and goes out and using what little he can of the force because he's exhausted, and the dust settles, and Midoriya barely is like almost passed out, just but he's like on the very edge of the ring because he used the force kind of like to grab on, and you can even see the torn up tile where like the force was literally just dragging it, like he's like literally had to catch himself. Meanwhile, Shoto, unfortunately, because of that extra pump with the telekinesis, did get blasted. He's okay, but his shirt's gone and he's probably definitely roughed up, but he did get pushed out of the ring. He's on his butt. He's like, unbelievable. Shoto is like, Mike's just like, yeah. So Recovery Girl does help Midoriya heal up, and luckily he still gets enough time to help heal up his injuries as well. So because again, force healing, all that, he's spending a lot of time just recovering, relaxing, just like, oh. Unfortunately, his arm isn't 100%, and he knows that, so he's got to be careful with Ida. But it goes to 8%, and he actually realizes, after pushing himself that hard, he can actually handle the 10%. It's a little bit more jarring, but he actually feels comfortable more at the 10% now, because he just had to push himself so hard using that mix and match of one-for-all combinations. So, augmenting himself with the Force, him and Ida are actually having a speed contest of physical attacks. It's like almost, it really would look kind of like a Dragon Ball fight, actually. And they're just kicking. Ida's actually got the edge when it comes to kicking power thanks to his quirk, because the rocket's on his quirk. And Deku just, but as soon as they're in midair, Deku just Deku using his hand, not using one for all, mind you, just, that's what? It's like, sorry, Ida, but I can't take any more hits for you. It's like, and just kind of walks and no! Maybe, I think he tries it one time, and Ida actually uses his thrusters to actually get back in the ring. Just, whoof, and almost takes Deku's head off with a spin kick. But he's kind of losing control doing it. Whoa, I didn't plan for this. Maybe just laying in the ring just for Deku to just go, no! Which leads again to Bakugo versus Deku. Now, Deku's arms is now fully healed. Just been waiting for this, loser. And I'm going to show you who's really in charge. And then, boom, just starts lighting up the ring. Just boom, boom, boom. Deku was just putting up his shield. Just, and he's lost sight of Deku, but Bakugo because of the smoke. Only for Bakugo's like, no, you better not disappoint. And Deku immediately goes full count and just lands a clean hit right on his Bakugo's right. But Bakugo can take a hit, we know it, and just splits, just blasts Deku in the face. Deku though, having a little bit of precognition here, is able to predict the next move as he ducks into the next hit and just boom. Just starts just landing shots into Bakugo's gut. Just and Bakugo just grabs his hands and get away now. And Midoriya realizes, oh, he's gonna no. And he force pushes Bakugo's face, but his hand gets messed up and he explodes. It's not broken, but it's pretty heavily burnt. And everyone's looking on, seeing Bakugo as this kid's violent. What the hell? Deku. And Bakugo's got a nosebleed. Could even be missing a tooth. Side note, I know in Bleach you can grow new teeth. You can do that. Does Recovery Girl have the ability to grow new teeth? I'm sure there's some here who probably, we know, what was it? Moonfish is the name of the teeth for, like, the blades for teeth. I think he can regrow new teeth. Maybe. I know he can just turn his teeth into blades. But, do you think Recovery Girl can replace teeth at a loss? Or is it just you're going to need a good dentist? Bakugo's got to get it. Well, I have a full set, no problem, at the end of the day. But still, hey, Deku, you? It's like, take, and he's just, Bakugo's just had don't you underestimate me, Midoriya? Or, you loser! And just, it's like, oh, Deku's like, no, Bakugo, no, you're going to blow up the entire ring. And Midoriya's like, there's no way for me. I could try to blitz him, but I would just get caught, and I'd be caught even further to the explosion. There's got to be something I can, and he realizes real quick, it's like, oh, please work. Boom! Midoriya just ducks, and just, and then boom! And, Bakugo's hands are shaking because of the impact. Huh? What? And there's Midoriya, barely there, but he says, oh, crap. And what he did, he used the force to flip the tiles over to basically get him like a barricade there. And it but you only get a couple up because they're so big. And they're two of them are completely gone. The other's nearly down to rubble. And Midoriya is just messing like, oh, God. You're trying to kill me there? And I say, why are you always like this, Bakugo? All I ever wanted to do was to try to prove I was an equal to you. I said, shut up, and those stupid. Shut up, you idiot. No way, it's my equal. And Midoriya's finally had it with it. Just like, just grabs Bakugo's hand, just, and just holds him in the air. Just, and Midoriya finally says what's on his mind. It's like, I have tried to be your friend. I still want to be your friend. But I'm telling you right now, we're not equals. Because I'm at least a better person than you. And Bakugo just throws and launches Bakugo. He stops himself from going out of the ring barely with the explosions. His hands are still shaking. As he lands on the ring, though, Midoriya comes in, rushes in with full count, and just boom! And just, and then it's good night, Irene, on that one. He just kind of like cold clocks Bakugo out of the ring. Just, and he kind of stands over and says, I don't know why. I never understood why you were like this, Bakugo. I only ever admired you. But you're not. But right now, as much as I still admire you for your strength and your confidence, you need to grow up. And Deku's like, the winner is Midoriya. Hey, what? I won. I won. Oh my God! And he realized, and Deku's like, I outright beat Bakugo. Oh my God! And so the medals are being handed out. Bakugo is still just livid, but he's also he is actually contemplating a little bit of what Midoriya said. You're not a good person. I'm a better person than you. You need to grow up. Like, he's pissed off because those words won't leave his head. Like, his whole ideology has kind of just been thrown out the window. And easy now, Bakugo. It's all right. Now, come on there. Here we go. And so Midoriya's like, good job, Midoriya. And so Midoriya wins the day. Now, real quick, we know Gran Torino saw Midoriya in the sports festival and called up All Might to be his teacher. Does anyone else want to go after Midoriya? Because he's demonstrated a lot more level-headedness than, say, Bakugo has. He got he got people wanting to do an internship, work study. And he's shown a lot more abilities that could be usable. I think, though, because he did use one for all in this, I think Torino does call him up and say, I want to talk to the boy. I'm going to train the boy. So, yeah. Now, that being said, Midoriya's already got full cowling, 10%, so I don't know what Torino's going to really be able to do with him, apart from teaching him kind of more hero work. But we'll deal with that when we get to part 4. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.